Hey, welcome back to the Rhystic Buddies MTG. It's me, the Magic Guy. To start, I'm sorry about the lack of uploads. The last gameplay that we recorded ended up getting corrupted. So as you saw, the editor took what he could out of that gameplay and turned it into that YouTube short of Stepan's win. He had turn 3 win with Jessica. Very cool. The reason there's been no uploads is because we were at Mox Masters Invitational. All three of us, me, Stepan, and Manila. Had a great time. Had an absolute blast. However, it was not a great tournament for us. I went 0-4 drop. I was on Dargo Silas. Very frustrating games. Round 1 was actually really funny. It was against Wounded Satellite, you know, a friend of me and the channel. Envy, who I was staying at an Airbnb with, and Bailey, who I was staying at an Airbnb with. So it's super funny round 1, just that we all got paired up together. Great game. It was actually the only game of the entire tournament that did not frustrate me. The rest of the tournament frustrated me greatly with the plays that my opponents were making. It felt like I had much less agency in the games because of the actions that they took. I guess that's the best way I can explain that. I'm not going to get super into detail with it here because honestly I think it would just sound like me bitching because I was very frustrated. I will link down below my Twitter thread covering the tournament. This is just going to be more so like a quick synopsis of it all and, you know, where we've been. I did not make top 16. I 0-4 dropped. Sean, Manila Midget, he did make top 16 on Dargo Thracius, so super glad that at least one of us got into the top 16. I guess that's spoilers for Stepan. Sean did great. He made top 16, lost it. Still super proud of him though. And Stepan. Poor Stepan. Stepan was on Thracios Jessica, his baby deck, and Stepan went 0-0-5. 0 wins, 0 losses, 5 draws. Every single one of Stepan's games went to time and then ended in a draw. It was the most insane thing that I've ever seen in my life, and just quite frankly, I've never seen that. That's actually wild. But outside of the actual cEDH tournament itself, I did great. we did a double masters draft, and my pack one pick one was like Bloodbraid Elf and Bitter Blossom. So I was like, all right, we're drafting Jund, baby, Jund them out. In that, I went 3-0. I opened a alternate art to Fairies Protection, a Crucible of Worlds, and something else. Like, it was a really good draft for me. And then my prize support for winning that draft was 2 collector packs of Wilds of Eldraine. I opened a borderless foil Talion, which is really cool because I play Talion, so that was sweet. And then after the tournament, we did that the day before the tournament began for the Invitational itself. The day after we had all dropped, we did a Battle Bond draft. And my partner and I, Caveman, we 2-0'd the Battle Bond draft. I pack one picked one, Rowan and Will Kenrith. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to play Izzet. And if you don't know, Battle Bond is a 2-headed giant format when you're drafting. So 30 life points. You guys split. You don't attack an individual player. You attack a team because they share 30 life points. And then you have 2 separate 40 card decks that you're playing from, but you take your turns at the same time. I was playing just kind of Izzet control, and Caveman was playing Golgari, like mid-range basically. But he opened a Magus of the Candelabra, and that card is so much stronger than I thought. I mean, I was playing 4 and 6 drops like 2 turns ahead of time because he was just giving me 3 to 4 mana a turn so I could play these big bombs of cards. And we went undefeated in that. We didn't really open anything from that, but it was fun. I'm a big fan of draft, so it was cool that I did so well in the draft, even though I scrubbed out of the cEDH event itself. Honestly, it was just a really good time to meet everyone. I actually had never met Manila and Stepan or Wounded or Freedom Waffle or Zane or any of these big guys in the cEDH scene that you know, I've talked to for quite some time. So it was awesome to actually go to the tournament and be able to meet them. I picked up a couple of cards we got a Wheel of Fortune, a Beseech the Mirror, and an Orcish Bowmaster. We're gonna go over the decks that were played at the tournament this weekend, which is surprising to me. I think this is actually a very interesting breakdown of the tournament. So the top 4 decks that were played this weekend were Tymna Kraum, Blue Farm, had 36 games played, 8 wins and 21 losses, 7 draws out of that. Second most played deck was actually Atraxa Grand Unifier, 17 games played, 5 wins, 11 losses, 1 draw. Third most played deck was Dargo Thrasios, 14 games played, 1 draw, 11 losses, 2 wins. And then Thrasios File Smasher was number 4, 2 wins, 12 losses, 1 draw. It's crazy to think that Rogsai was 5th place. Rogsai didn't make the top 4 played, Najeela didn't make the top 4 played, Tivit didn't make the top 4 played, even Kinnan. Just all of it's kind of wild to think that these, you know, quote-unquote meta, the best decks in the format, one of them made it to top 60 or top 4 decks played, you know, obviously Blue Farm, which was the most played deck of the weekend. Najeela went 0-3-1. There was one person playing Najeela this weekend, and it did not pick up a single win. I will say that there's some really standout decks that did well. Like Malcolm Kedis is the deck that actually took down the tournament, which is super awesome to see. One of my real life friends has been playing Malcolm Kedis for a long time. If we break it out a little further and we go to the top 4 pod, the top 4 pod was Malcolm Kedis, Krark Silas, Sisse, 5-color Sisse. The fuck was the last deck? Narset, the new Narset being played by Kai. So it's just none of the quote unquote meta decks made top 4, which is super cool to see. And I think it shows a lot, because this was the Mox Masters Invitational. I think a lot more people, myself included, expected this to just be Rogsai, Blue Farm, Najeela, Kinnan, Tivit. And those were some of the most underrepresented decks other than Blue Farm. So it was awesome. It was awesome to see. There was a wide range of decks being played, and I think that's kind of indicative that people want to explore other decks. They want to play things that aren't just the best decks in the format. Speaking of decks, I think it's a great time to transition. I think I am off of Dargo Silas for a little bit. I love the deck. It's my baby. It's something I've put a lot of time and effort into. I think it's just not that strong. It feels like you are constantly fighting an uphill battle for a win, which is obviously, you know, you're playing against 3 other players. You're always going to be doing that. But I mean it in kind of a different sense. It feels like you're fighting the deck itself to get an uphill win. Your deck should be more cohesive and like able to just push through. And playing Dargo Silas, we have to play cards that aren't great to enable our Dargo combo. Obviously, it's a Grixis shell. It's still a good deck. I just think that if your commanders aren't going to be card draw engines, then they need to be more than just a combo piece. Silas is just kind of a dead commander. Dargo is a combo piece, and that's kind of it. Like, I think I'm just off of decks that aren't actively pushing towards a game plan more often than not. I think from now on, I'm just going to play decks that have card draw in the command zone or are Rogsai. I really like Rogsai. It's probably going to be the next deck I sleeve up, and then like Dawnwaker or Kiri Thrasios. I think Dawnwaker is very underrepresented, and I've top 4'd a tournament with it before. Really like that deck. I'd like to give it another try and push with that. So sadly, my sweet summer child, Dargo Silas, they're gonna have to be laid to rest. I'll probably keep the deck still sleeved up, and I'll still play it on the channel. But I think as far as tournaments go, I won't submit it at a tournament again, which does pain me. I love the deck a lot. And then the last thing I guess not the last thing, but next I want to talk about the event itself. It was great. Eminence and Playing with Power did an absolutely incredible job putting on like just an awesome tournament. It ran super well. The judges were great. The staff was great. The venue itself was great. Plenty of places to eat around the venue. And then like the actual Eminence and Playing with Power guys were phenomenal. Like I met Tad, I met TK, Ryan, Alana, Mike. I met Zane, Helenium. I actually ended up picking up Helenium from the airport because he ended up just being on the same flight that Steppen was on randomly, and I picked him up. And it was awesome. It was just really awesome to meet all of these guys, especially TK. I want to give a big shout out to TK. Over just randomly talking this weekend, we discovered we lived in the same part of North Carolina, like in the same town, for like 3 or 4 years together, and we just never knew it. Neither of us live there anymore, but we were just like, he just randomly mentioned the town. I was like, oh, I used to live there, and he's like, oh, me too. And then we started talking about it, and we're like, we lived there for like 3 years at the same time. We just never saw each other, which is crazy. It was just cool. So big shout out to TK, awesome guy. Him and Alana and Mike and Hire. Oh, Hire, yeah, we saw Hire as well. I got to play some games with Hire, great guy. They did an awesome job casting. Casting was phenomenal. Everyone was just super nice. It was great. The only bad thing I have to say about the tournament isn't even the tournament's fault. And it's
a really bad sickness.
Like 10 people got. A really bad sickness. So one random person showed up with
a really bad sickness.
You know, shame on them. Me, like 2 of the guys from my Airbnb, we all got. Ryan from playing with Power got. I tested positive yesterday. I mean, that's not like the TO's fault, you know, obviously. That's just someone probably didn't know that they had when they got there, and if they did, you know, fuck you. But yeah, I don't have anything negative to say. It was awesome. I had a great time. It was really cool meeting everyone. So yeah, that's where we've been. That's where all of the Rhystic Buddies have been. But now that I'm back, I have some really cool stuff planned. I have an interview with someone that I respect a lot. So I'm going to get that recorded. We're going to upload that. I think you guys will enjoy that a lot. I have games with TK actually planned. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, now that I'm back, we can just get back to our regular scheduled program. So thanks. See you in the next one.